Hi, good morning. Okay, this is going to be a video just for you, and I am going to use my colors, but when I say it out loud, I'm going to be saying your colors, and that way you can go ahead and follow along. Okay, so my first step, I have all of my skincare on, and I've sat down and I've already put on my SPF 50, okay? So just so you know, that's already there. That's been sitting there for a few minutes, and then now I'm sitting down to go ahead and do my makeup. I do take a damp perfector sponge and I do put this underneath water and rinse it out, fill it up and rinse it out. And this way it's big and bouncy. So I do have it blotted inside of a towel. So when I squeeze it, there's no water that comes out. I then take my setting spray and I spray it directly all over my sponge. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to blot my entire face. I'm going to really focus around my eyes and underneath especially, around my nose and around my mouth. This is where I want to make sure none of my makeup is moving. I want it to last the most possible length of time that it can. And then I'm just going to switch over to the big fat side of that sponge and kind of go all over again my cheeks and my forehead. So I just go through and I do it this way. You can also take this spray, since it's mist, and spray it directly on your face like this. But I like to make sure that I'm not missing any little nooks and crannies. So I do like to come back and use the sponge. So that is personal preference. Okay, if you do need to use any color correcting, which I don't believe that we did any color correcting for you. So I'm just gonna use my color corrector for just a second. I'm gonna be coming in, this is Mango. I like to use this color underneath my eyes. I do have a little bit of darkness underneath my eyes on the top of my eyelid as well. And that is very normal for the pigment on top of the eye to sort of like, it becomes like almost clear and like a reddish sort of a color. And that's just very, very normal. So I do like to provide this little bit of a layer. The color that I'm personally using right now is called Mango. You can use some blushes as well, like Frenchy, Scarlet, depending on like how dark your under eye area is. You can also use certain colors to cover melasma, sunspots, or anything like that as well. So if you didn't get that inside of your kit, which I don't believe that you did, and you feel like after you're playing with your makeup that you want to have something a little bit more, just reach out to me and I will help you. And that's all you would do, is you would put it on before you continue the rest of your makeup. So I'm just going to set this before we continue. Okay, so your contour that you're going to be dipping into is called Shadow. So on the back of the tin, you're going to notice is all of the colors. What you can do is when you put it inside of your palette, you can label it. So you can cut up your packing slip, or you can print out labels, or you can just use a marker, like a little very fine point, thin magic marker, and you can write on them, whichever you want to do. Okay, so either way, you're going to take it and you're going to dip your finger into it. The very first time that you get your contour, it's going to feel really thick. So you may have to kind of go back and forth over the whole entire thing and just kind of like take that top layer off. They do that to protect it while you're in shipping. You just wipe off your finger and then come in and use a little bit more. What we're going to do is go right on the top of our cheekbone. So you're going to kind of go the corner of your ear to the corner of your mouth. This is the line that you're focusing on. We're going to go right here, like right on the top. And you're going to kind of put your first dot almost like right in the center of your pupil, or like a hair over. And then you can go ahead and place a few dots and you're going to go upward. The idea is you want this to lift on your cheek. And then you're going to come through and you're going to go right along your forehead, okay? And don't feel like you have to go too close or too far back. Just put it where it feels right. This is where you're going to have the definition, and it's going to kind of like shrink your forehead a little bit and define everything, okay? So I'm going to go through, I'm going to finish my forehead, and you can see it kind of goes right in this round motion. You can use dots or you can use a sweep. So it doesn't matter either way. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put that right on the top of my cheek. So it's almost kind of like even with, I guess, your nostril, like, right? Like even with your nose right here, I tend not to go any closer than the center of my eye. And you're going to go right there. So go ahead and go in and take a little bit more. You can rub it between your two fingers. And you're going to come straight down your nose. Don't worry about it being too close together. Actually, you want it to be close together. And what you're going to do is come through and you're just going to kind of connect the dots right here in like a V, connect those two lines. And I just kind of like push it up into my eyebrows right there. Then you're going to come through and you're going to define your jaw. So you're just going to kind of come like this. Now, the secret of doing your jaw, don't put your head back, right? You do want to do it so that way you're defining it to have that jawline come across the middle like this. I'll put my head back so you can see exactly where I'm going. And then I'm just going to kind of define this. You're going to notice that your contour does not spread as smooth as the others, and that's okay. You want it to. This is meant to define. It is meant to basically give the illusion of cheekbones that maybe aren't there or define them. It's meant to shrink your forehead and again, define it. It's meant to slim your nose and it's meant to slim your neck. You can also take your contour if you like and you can drag it all the way down your neck. Okay, now I like to do my brightener next. That is my favorite way because I like to eliminate all the spaces on my face. So your brightener is June, mine is White Peach. So you're gonna dip into June. Again, look at the back and you will see. You're gonna take that and go straight down the middle and you're gonna then fan it out. I think of this as like a flower. How much you use is a personal preference. You have to do this a couple of times until you figure out exactly how much is too much for you and how much is not enough. Keep in mind that it's also buildable, so that way you can go over the top of it and add more. You're gonna see I went straight down my nose, Cupid's bow, and right on my chin. Again, you can do 3 dots like I did. You could do 4, you could do 2 lines. Like, don't overthink the amount of dots. Just think of the areas. You're gonna come into the corner of your eye and you're gonna pop a dot like that. And then you're gonna kind of come like this and you're going to sort of like give it a lift. It's going to be this illusion. Now at the party, what we did is we took this and we dragged it down the nose as well. That is something that I personally like to do, and I like to kind of fan it out that way. But again, you can just do a dot in the inner eye, and then you can do either a line or you can do dots up in that manner to give it that lift. But I do like to personally kind of drag it out like that, and I like to drag it down the center of my nose. Now, if you have any darkness right in this area in the laugh line, it is normal as you start to age and you get older. You can throw a little bit of your brightener color right in that laugh line, and then when you blend it, it'll all just blend in nice. If you'd like to have a little bit more of a lift underneath your cheek, take your brightener color and you can apply it underneath your cheek as well. Okay, so those are all just like little fun tips and tricks that you can do along the way. So you can see we are kind of adding everything straight through. I'm not gonna do the blush yet, but I'm gonna go into the main color. So your main color is Sandy. My main color is Sandy. So I'm gonna tap into Sandy, and you're going to notice that these creams are so much smoother, right? They're like smoother, warmer. They melt onto your face a little faster. They are meant to. And all I am doing is I am filling in all of the areas where I don't have anything else, okay? So all of this becomes like your foundation. And your face is not one color, so your foundation shouldn't be one color. And that's why your foundation tends to sort of fall flat, is because you're trying to make your face be one color. And then this, by adding in the contour and adding in the brightener where you want everything to come forward, and then just taking the rest of the spots and filling it in with your main color, what you're doing is you're actually putting life into your face, but keeping it one layer. So that's the beauty of all these dots. This is one layer. So we're eliminating all these spots. So we do the contour, then we do the brightener, and then we do the main, and that way it eliminates all like the space, the real estate on your face, okay? Now, again, you get to control how much you want. You get to make your face have more dots or less dots than me. So please don't feel like you have to do as many dots as I do, okay? You can also take a little bit of your brightener, pop it right here in the center right underneath your eyelid, and that's just going to give you a little pop. So again, those are little fun things. So that way, if you're watching this the first time, you can skip. And if you're watching this like the second, third, or fourth time, you're like, hey, let me try that little area. It's just super fun to play with your makeup. Again, there's no right or wrong way. I wouldn't put my contour underneath my eyes. I would consider that a wrong way. But honestly, if your contour is a little higher or a little lower, it's going to blend the same. So don't panic. Don't wash it off. Just blend. Okay. So here we go. I'm hoping that you scooped up this brush. I cannot remember if you decided to try your own brushes first and you haven't scooped this up. If you have, these are actually made for the cream. It's going to blend so much different than if you're using a brush that is made for powder or liquid. Okay, so I will tell you that. Makes me sound a little used car salesman-ish, but I've tried it too many times. So, and other women have too. So anyway, I love this brush because this one side right here is on an angle. So I do like to come in, I do underneath my eye first. You don't have to though. You can choose however you want to start. I tend to kind of just drag in, and I tend to just kind of like tap and slightly blend, drag over. And you can see I'm going straight up because I want that lift. And I'm being a little gentle underneath my eye for two reasons. One, you should. It's a very sensitive part on your face. Number two, don't forget I have that color corrector underneath. So if you don't have that color corrector, you don't need to worry so much as me. I am going to go ahead and blend my eyelid here. And again, I'm just doing like a little bit of a stipple. Don't forget around your nostril. Straight down. I'm going to switch over to this other side. I do really love this side because you can kind of like swirl and blend. It has a medium density to it. If you did scoop up this brush, you can use this side. It's a little bit fluffier. This side's really fluffy. These are going to give you a lighter blend. This is going to be right in the middle. If you decide to scoop up the buff brush, it's going to be more dense. You're going to have more of a filtered makeup look. So you can use all the same makeup, but you can get different looks depending on which brush you grab. Okay, I'm going to come right here, kind of like where you think of a man's beard. I'm going to blend the light right here. I'm kind of avoiding the contour only because I'm just letting it warm up to my face as long as possible. But since I'm down here in this beard area, I'm going to go ahead and tackle this contour. So I'm just going to kind of go back and forth and just sort of blend it in the manner where I want it to be, right? So I'm just traveling. You can see my face is normal. I'm not leaning it back. I'm just kind of going back and forth. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to drag it down. So basically whatever is left on my brush, I'm just taking that and dragging it down, but I am following this line for the contour. Now let's just do our forehead. I'm going to take this brightener and basically I'm pushing this up and into my hairline like that. Okay, so I'm just going up, pushing it into my hairline. And you're going to start to notice it blends so beautifully, just like it did that day when we did it. And you're going to get even better with this every single time that you do it. I'm just gonna, and I did flip over right here just to kind of blend that side of my nose. I do love that brush. I do love this brush because it has that angled side. Okay, now I'm gonna take my cheek area here. I just have my contour on and basically I'm flicking up. So I kind of tapped over it to sort of like loosen it up and start blending it. But when I do come back, I do flick up and all the way into the hairline, just like that. This is what is creating that line. But yet you can see, because we have it in this manner of everything dotted on our face, it's super natural. I'm not going to worry about my little friend. We will do a little blemish concealing at the end. So this is just your overall blend, and that's it. So here's all those crazy dots we threw on our face. And then this is everything where we have it blended in. So let's go ahead and just do the other side. So again, I always like to do underneath my eye. We'll go a little bit faster since you're a pro now, right? Do the top of the eyelid. straight down the nose. Don't blend out this way, but try to go straight down on top of the nose, and that way it stays. It sort of stays in the line that you applied it. That's what I meant. Sorry, I didn't mean to blend out your cheek. You notice I did my cheek first that time? No wrong way. There's no wrong way. But I tend to sort of always go underneath my eyes first, and then I always come back over it. I always just kind of like, you'll notice I come back and forth. That is a sunspot. I just don't want you to think that that's contour. I didn't blend. The joys, right? It's always something new popping up. Okay, that's it. We have everything blended now. So really fun if you take a before picture and you can really compare just how natural this looks before we actually do anything further. I'm just going to take that sponge, run it over my entire face just to make sure that I don't have anything extra. And there we go. Okay, I am going to add some bronzer to my look. I cannot remember if you got the bronzer or not, but I do love to use this brush with it. I'm going to come through with the big fluffy side, and I like to hit up the top of my cheeks like this. It kind of just gives a little bit of like this sun-kissed warmth, and I love cream bronzer. It is so different than when I used to use my powder bronzer, which was like really, really, really dark. I didn't realize how dark it was until I switched over to cream. So I'm putting a little bit on my forehead, not a whole lot, but I tend to start to use this more and more. I use it every day. I mean, I dip into it more and more as I get more tan. So a little secret is I kind of come like right here. This will also really make sure that you're blending your neck to your chest, to your face, so you don't have like that floating head look. And it just keeps it really, really light. You will use such a little amount of product, but you can see it just gives my face a little bit of life versus having without it. And so I really, really enjoy it. If you did not get the bronzer, you can just hang tight a sec. I do tap it over my eyelid. I come right up and over. This will take your color too as you get darker and you need to shade up. You can use Bella to sort of help you not have to go into another shade too soon, which is like really, really nice too. So, because that happens while you're like outside or, you know, you're in the garden or whatever's happening and you start to get just a little bit more color. And sometimes you just need to sort of transition it, and it's really great. You can also use just Bella on your face too. I do that a lot in the summer. I use just the Bella bronzer with like a little bit of illuminator, and that's also great too when you don't want to have extra layers on your face. Okay, so you're going to dip into any lip and cheek color that you want. I believe you got Royal. I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to tap into one of them here. I'm going to use this other side, and I'm just going right over where that contour was, and I'm just kind of tapping this into place. You can go ahead and you can dot your blush in if you would like with all of the dots, and you can blend. Sometimes I will do that, and sometimes I like to come in after the fact, and I just like to give my face just a little bit more. I do love, this is that same brush I was using for the bronzer. I do love to use this brush because I like to flip it over and just sort of like marry them all together. So it's a great brush for that, sorry. And then I'm just gonna take the sponge and hit up the edges. So you're gonna notice I do tap into that sponge a whole lot. And hang on one second, I just wanna kind of brighten down the middle of my nose just a little bit. Okay, I also love to use my contour to fill in my eyebrows. So I don't know if that's something that you like to do or not, but I am tapping actually into shadow. That is the color of my eyebrows. This is a line brush. This is from Seint. It's angled and it has like the little brush on the other side so you can brush your brow. But I like to just take it like this and throw a little bit of my contour in my brows. If you haven't tried it yet, just give it a shot. It just kind of like frames out your face. I think people forget this step. And even if you don't need a whole lot, watch how it makes a difference. You can also use eyeshadow too. That's a really great secret. I just prefer the contour. I feel like it looks really, really natural. And you can see I don't use a whole lot, but just enough, and it kind of just stays put. And it lasts all day. So like, that's perfect. If I put something on my face, I want it to last all day long. Okay, so now I have your illuminator, which I believe is either angel or rose gold, I forget. Take a little bit, put a little bit right here on the tip of your nose, and then travel a little bit up your nose like this. Take a little bit and put it underneath your brow bones. This is just gonna go ahead and catch the light. Take your favorite brush for your blush and tap it right over. And that's it. It's just gonna brighten everything up. You can put a little bit right here on your lips. I actually love to do this. Right up on the Cupid's bow. You can even tap it all over your lips and either put your lip and cheek color that we got. I know that's why you decided to get royal, or you can go ahead and just use your favorite lip gloss or anything like that. So I'm just using the Eliminator with Aquaphor. There you have it. Eyeshadow if you want, vanilla dusting powder if you want, and mascara if you want. And that's it. That's it. That is it. It does get easier the more you do it. Come back, start and stop this video, follow along, label your palette so you know your colors, and I promise you that you'll be able to do this in 5 minutes or less in no time. Reach out as always if you have any questions. Thanks again for your order, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.